I walked up the steps and reached for the doorknob, expecting the quiet hum of our apartment. Instead, I heard laughter, soft, familiar, but not mine. My chest tightened. I froze. "Ethan, you're terrible at that joke." "Ah!" Clara's voice floated through the door. My pulse hit my throat. I twisted the knob slowly. The living room blurred before my eyes. Clara was leaning too close to a man I barely knew, laughing like I wasn't even there. I wanted to scream, to storm in, but my voice felt trapped somewhere. "Deep, Clara," I croaked. She didn't look up. "Hey, who's there?" Ethan said smoothly, turning, flashing a smile. I hated immediately. I swallowed, words failing me. My hand fell from the doorknob. I didn't know. "You were here," Ethan said, shrugging. "We were just what?" I finally managed, my voice trembling. Clara's smile faltered, then faded. She glanced at me, then back at Ethan. "It's not what it looks like," she said quickly. I laughed bitterly. "Not what it looks like? I'm seeing it right now. Leaning in, laughing like this. With him, it's complicated," she began, but I cut her off. "I trusted you," I whispered, more to myself than to her. My eyes burned as I tried to find some explanation that didn't exist. "Please, let me explain," Clara pleaded. "No," I said, shaking my head. "I can't. I don't even want to hear it." Ethan smirked, as if enjoying my reaction. "Come on, I didn't mean anything. You didn't mean anything?" I barked. "I've been working my ass off, believing in us, and this is what I come home to." My fists clenched, knuckles white. "Calm down," David's voice echoed. In my head, he had called me earlier, worried I seemed off. He'd be here soon, probably saying something practical, trying to fix what can't be fixed. I envied him for it. I need air," I muttered. I turned and walked out, slamming the door silently behind me. I couldn't even let the anger out properly. It was shock, pure, hollow shock. On the street, I drew shaky breaths. My mind replayed the image over and over. Her hand brushing against his, her laughter, the look in her eyes that wasn't meant. For me, David called almost immediately. "Hey, you okay? You sounded off earlier." I don't know," I admitted, voice breaking. "I think I just saw her, with someone else." There was a pause. "Wait, what?" His voice was calm, but I heard the concern. She's with another man, in my living room, laughing, leaning into him." I don't know what to do." "Okay, slow down," he said. "Breathe. Are you safe? Did she see you?" Walked out. I couldn't speak. "Did the right thing," he said firmly. "Now, focus on you. Don't react. Don't confront. Just breathe." I sank onto a bench, my hands shaking. I keep thinking I missed signs. The texts she hid, the late nights at work, her distant looks. I didn't notice anything. "Don't blame yourself," David replied. "Sometimes people hide things better than we can imagine." I clenched my jaw. I trusted her. I thought we were perfect. How could she? The words wouldn't. "Finish. You'll get through this." "One step at a time," David said. "You need to decide what you want to do next. Revenge. Walk away. Rebuild." I laughed bitterly. I don't even know anymore. Just can't believe it. I remembered Ethan's smirk. That easy confidence. I wanted to punch him. "I hate him," I muttered. "You can," David said softly. "Or you can let it fuel you. Either way, don't let it destroy you." I clenched my fists tighter. I didn't know if I could forgive. I didn't know if I could confront. I knew one thing: I couldn't stay there. Not today. Not like this. Hours later, I returned to the apartment to gather some things. She was sitting there, pretending everything was normal. "Clara," I said. "Hey," she said softly.
"Can
we talk?" "No," I said, finally finding my voice. "We can't. I need space. I can't do this anymore." Her eyes widened. "But I don't," I said. I grabbed a bag and walked out again. This time I didn't look back. Outside, I let the cold air hit me. Pain twisted in my chest, but beneath it was something sharper. Resolve. I didn't know what I would do next, but I knew I couldn't stay. Not here. not with her. Ethan's laughter echoed in my mind. I promised myself. Silently, I wouldn't let him win. I would walk away silently forever if I had to, and I did. I sat at my desk, staring at the screen, but my mind was somewhere else. Clara's laughter, Ethan's smirk, it all replayed over and over. "Hey, you okay?" David's voice came through my headphones. I jumped. "Yeah." "Fine," I lied. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, typing nothing. "Fine. Talk to me. I can't stop thinking about. I can't stop thinking about." You know, my throat tightened. "Her, Clara. You mean the one who betrayed you?" he said calmly. "Yeah, I get it. But bro, you can't just sit there. You need to do something." "What? Confront her? Call her? Make a scene?" I laughed bitterly. That would just make me look pathetic. "Not if you do it smartly," David said. "But maybe right now, you just need distance. Let your head clear a bit. Think." I rubbed my temples. I keep replaying everything. The texts she hid, the nights she lied about work. I don't even know what was real anymore. David was quiet for a moment. "You can't control her choices, only yours. Decide if you're going to let this ruin you or if you're going to live." I exhaled slowly. "Live. Yeah, easy for you to say. You're not the one coming home to see your wife with someone else." "I know," he said softly, "but you're stronger than you think." I hung up and leaned back in my chair. Work was supposed to distract me, but I couldn't focus. Every email, every call reminded me that my perfect life was gone. My apartment felt empty, even though it wasn't. Then she popped into my mind again, Clara, smiling at Ethan, leaning in. I slammed my laptop shut. I need something else. The next day, a new colleague joined our team, Sophia. She had this calm energy about her, the kind that made people feel heard. She walked up to my desk with a smile. "Hi, I'm Sophia. Looks like we're on the same project," she said. I nodded, still distracted. "Yeah, hi. You look tired," she said casually. "Long day." I forced a small laugh. "Could say that. I hope it's nothing serious," she added, her tone soft, not probing. That made me pause. Most people would pry, judge, or gossip. She just understood. Over the next week, Sophia checked in often. "How's the project? Coming along? Or need any help with this?" But the subtle kindness she showed felt different. I found myself looking forward to her presence, her voice. Something that didn't remind me of betrayal. One afternoon, while we were working together, she said, "You're good at this, really. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise." Her words hit harder than I expected. I blinked, surprised. "Thanks. I guess I needed that." She smiled lightly. "Everyone needs someone sometimes." I didn't answer, but I thought about it long after. Sophia wasn't trying to fix me. She just noticed me. That was a start. But Clara and Ethan weren't done with their careless games. I ran into her text notifications on my shared cloud accounts. Snippets of messages from Ethan, hints of their secret meetings. I didn't confront her, not yet. I just took screenshots, quietly, like I was cataloging the end of my life. "You're obsessing," David said over the phone when I told him. "It's dangerous. You're letting her control your emotions even now." "I can't help it," I said. "I need to see it. I need proof. Not for revenge. I think I just need to understand how it happened. Be careful," he warned. Now, once you go down that road, it's hard to turn back." I sighed, staring at my laptop again. Sophia popped into my mind, her calm, her patience. Maybe I didn't need to confront Clara yet. Maybe I needed to focus on myself first. Still, my anger simmered. One evening, I saw Clara at the grocery store. She looked at me, startled, and quickly turned away. Ethan wasn't there. I didn't approach. I walked past her, my heart thundering. That split-second glance reminded me how small I felt. How invisible. I can't keep letting her do this to me. I muttered to myself when I got home. David's words echoed. "I decide what you want to do." I opened my folder of screenshots, scrolling through each message, each trace of betrayal. I felt sick, angry, betrayed, but also strangely focused. Every text reminded me of the life I thought I had. Every lie reminded me that I could never go back. The next morning, Sophia stopped by my desk again. Hey, want to grab a coffee? Later, there's a new place down the street. I hesitated. I don't know if I should. It's okay. Just a break. You don't have to talk about work or anything else if you don't want to, she said, smiling. Sometimes people just need a pause. Her words were simple, but I felt them. Pause. Breathe. Live. Not react. Not obsess. Maybe that was the first step. Later that night, I reviewed the screenshots again. I noticed patterns, the times they met, the hidden excuses, the subtle betrayals. I wasn't planning revenge yet, not really. I just needed to see clearly, understand everything before I made a choice. David called again. So, any thoughts on what you're going to do? I don't know, I admitted. I keep thinking maybe I should try to forgive. But then I see her face, that smirk when she thought I wasn't watching. And I feel like I could never trust her again. Then maybe the answer's simple, he said. Distance. Walk away. Let her live with what she's done. You focus on you. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. Maybe that's it. I glanced at my computer. Sophia's chat pinged me. Coffee tomorrow? It's for the first time in weeks. I smiled. It wasn't happiness. Not yet. But it was. Hoped that I could start rebuilding. Start seeing a life that wasn't controlled by betrayal. Hope that maybe, just maybe, I could survive the sand, not be broken by it. And for now, that had to be enough. I hung up the phone and sat back, staring at the ceiling. Clara's voice still echoed in my mind, pleading, promising. Didn't want it. Not anymore. I'm done, I muttered to myself. Completely done. David's words came back to me. Distance. Walk away. Focus on you. That was it. I didn't need explanations, apologies, or manipulations. I needed control. The next morning, I blocked Clara's number, email, social media, everything. No contact. I felt the weight lift immediately. It wasn't relief yet. It was resolve. At work, Sophia noticed. You look different today, she said. I smiled faintly. Maybe I finally decided to stop pretending. That sounds good, she said. Her voice was calm, grounding. You want to talk about it? No, I said, shaking my head. Not yet. But thanks for asking. She nodded, accepting. I appreciated that. She didn't push. She didn't judge. She just let me be. That evening, I went for a run, pounding the pavement, letting every ounce of frustration out. I realized how much energy I had wasted being hurt, being angry, being trapped in my own head. Each step reminded me I was alive, that I could take charge of my life. Clara, I whispered under my breath, you're not controlling me anymore. I returned, my phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. You can't ignore me forever. We need to talk. I didn't respond. Not Clara, not anyone from that past. At work, Ethan's arrogance became obvious. He was careless, bragging, flaunting. Clara's attention like it made him untouchable. I overheard a few colleagues whispering about him, how he messed up a deal by overconfidently pushing a client. Karma was subtle, but it was starting. I didn't celebrate. I just observed. Sophia sat beside me one afternoon. You seem sharper, lately focused. I am, I admitted. I've realized I've been letting other people dictate my emotions for too long. That ends now. She smiled. Good, it's about time you took care of yourself. Yeah, I said. I need to build something. Solid, not fragile. Not dependent on anyone else's loyalty or deceit. Our workdays became easier. Sophia helped me plan, prioritize, and even laugh at the absurdity of office politics. Found satisfaction in small victories, closing a deal, finishing a report early, mastering a presentation. Each achievement felt like reclaiming a piece of my dignity. Then Clara tried to reach me again, She showed up at my office, looking nervous, desperate. "Can we talk? Please. I was wrong. I never meant to hurt you." Looked at her calmly. My chest tightened, but my face remained neutral. "Clara, it's too late. The choice isn't mine anymore. I've moved on. Can change," she said, pleading. "Can fix this. We can. We can try again." "No," I said firmly. "You chose your path. I chose mine. We can't walk the same road anymore." Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't flinch. I saw through the manipulation. This wasn't love, it was panic. It wasn't regret. It was fear. And I wouldn't be drawn back in. Sophia appeared at the doorway, casually carrying a folder. "Do you need me?" she asked, but her presence alone was enough. Clara's attempt at control fizzled in the air. I have to go," Clara muttered, retreating. Her eyes pleaded one last time, but I looked away. After she left, Sophia turned to me. "You okay?" "I am," I said quietly. "I'm finally in control. Not angry, not desperate. Just free." "You've changed," she said. "I can see it." "I had to," I admitted. I realized I had no choice if I wanted to survive this. Days passed, and Ethan's overconfidence began to catch up to him. Clients started complaining, colleagues whispered more openly. It was subtle, but the cracks were showing. Karma, if that's what it was, wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, predictable, and I observed it without satisfaction or malice. Meanwhile, I focused on myself. I started working out regularly, planning my career goals, organizing my life. Discipline became my new addiction. Resilience, my shield. Strength, my reward. Sophia became more than just a colleague. She was a confidant, someone I could rely on without fear of betrayal. One evening, over a late project, she said, "You're doing this well. Not just work life. You're really handling it." "Thanks," I said. "I don't think I realized how capable I could be until now." "You're more than capable," she said softly, "and you deserve to feel that." Her words struck me harder than any confrontation with Clara could. It wasn't about revenge or punishment. It was about me reclaiming what was mine: peace, dignity, and control. Clara tried once more, sending a carefully worded email full of apology and regret. I read it once, then deleted it. No response. It's not a word. I leaned back in my chair and whispered, "I won't go back. I won't give them that power over me." By the end of the week, I realized something profound. I was no longer the man who had walked in on betrayal and felt broken. I was stronger, sharper, and in command of my own life. Clara and Ethan's world was starting to crumble quietly, and I was finally above it. Next week, I said aloud to myself, stretching my arms, I start focusing entirely on me. Nothing else. No distractions, no regrets, no illusions. Glanced at me. "Sounds like a plan." "It is," I said. And for the first time, I meant it completely. No anger, no desire for revenge. Just clarity, just strength. I had crossed the line. It's a line between being a victim and being in control. And I wasn't looking back. I walked into the office and paused by the window, looking down at the street below. It had been months since I cut Clara out completely. Months since I stopped letting her and Ethan control my thoughts, my moods, my life. Sophia appeared beside me with a coffee in hand. "You okay?" she asked casually. "I am," I said. "Better than I thought I could be." She smiled. "Good. You deserve it." I didn't realize how much of me I'd given away, I admitted. All that anger, all that obsession, it was like I wasn't even living for myself. "You're living for yourself now," she said softly, "and that's all that matters." I nodded. "Yeah, I think I finally get it." Later that day, I ran into one of our clients in the lobby. He smirked and said, "I heard about Ethan's little disaster with the Henderson account. Must be tough for him." I raised an eyebrow. "I guess overconfidence catches up with everyone. Eventually, seems karma has a sense of timing," he added with a chuckle. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. I watched from a distance, feeling a quiet satisfaction. Not joy, not triumph. Just balance that evening while working. Late Sophia said, "You've changed. I see it every day. You're calm, focused, not letting anyone mess with your head." "I had to," I said. "I realized I can't control what they do, but I can control me, my choices, my emotions, my life." She nodded, sitting down across from me. "It's a good place to be." I smiled faintly. "It is. I still think about what I lost, what I went through. But it doesn't hurt the same way anymore. That's progress, I guess." "Progress is good," she said. "It means you're moving forward, not stuck in the past." I nodded, letting the thought settle. The past was still there, but it didn't have the power to define me anymore. A few weeks later, I noticed an article online. Ethan had been publicly reprimanded. A client had pulled their account because of his carelessness. Clara was nowhere to be found in our social circles. Her social media quiet, her charm no longer working. I didn't celebrate, I just watched. I guess that's what happens when people think the world owes them something. I muttered to Sophia as we walked through the office corridor. She glanced at me. "You're not bitter?" "I'm aware," I said. "I see the consequences, but it's not personal anymore. I'm past needing revenge." One evening, I was at a small cafe, Sophia across from me, talking about the latest project. "You seem lighter," she said. "I am," I admitted. "I don't think I've ever felt this. Stable. Not angry, not hurt, just solid," she smiled. "Good, you deserve that." "I do," I said, taking a sip of my coffee. "And I earned it the hard way. Talked about work, life, small things. No drama, no betrayal, just conversation. It was refreshing," it reminded me that not all relationships were built on manipulation or pain. A week later, I ran into Clara at a mutual friend's gathering. She tried to smile, her eyes filled with regret. I've messed up everything," she said quietly. I looked at her without expression. "I know, I didn't realize." Began. "You did realize," I interrupted softly. "You just chose to ignore it." Her eyes flickered, shame flashing across her face. I wanted to fix it. I wanted to..." "You wanted to what?" I asked calmly. "Bring back something that no longer exists? Control me again?" She looked down, silent. Need to say anything else? The power was gone. Her manipulation no longer worked. Ethan was there too, trying to charm the crowd. I noticed the subtle glances people gave him, the quiet snickers behind his back. Confidence doesn't last forever, and arrogance has a way of eroding itself. I didn't feel vindictive, didn't feel joy. I just watched. The natural consequences of their choices were unfolding without my interference. That was enough. Later that night, I reflected on everything. Anger, the heartbreak, the obsession. It had been necessary to feel it, to process it, but I was done being trapped by it. I had chosen myself. I had reclaimed my life. I sat quietly. In my apartment, Sophia's earlier words echoing, "You're living for yourself now." "I am," I whispered. "And I'm okay." The memories of betrayal were still there, like shadows at the edge of a room. But they didn't scare me anymore. They didn't define me. I thought about Clara, about Ethan, about the life I once had. I didn't want them back. I wanted clarity, strength, freedom. I had it. I closed my eyes and let the stillness fill me. For the first time in months, I felt whole. Not because they suffered, but because I survived. Not because I won, but because I chose me. You can't always control what happens, I whispered to no one. But you can control how you respond, and I chose. Sophia called me later that week. "Want to grab lunch tomorrow?" "I'd like that," I said. It wasn't about replacing what I lost. It was about embracing what I had: friendship, respect, and self-possession. I walked home that evening feeling the cool air on my face. The city felt different. Not smaller, not emptier, just mine. Free to navigate, free to live, free to grow. I realized walking away had been the hardest choice of all. But it was also the most liberating. I didn't need to punish anyone. I didn't need revenge. I only needed myself. And for the first time in a long time, I felt peace. Quiet, steady, unshakable peace. I had survived. I had learned. I had transformed, and that was enough.